Special Protection Group (SPG) is an armed force of the Union for providing proximate security to the Prime Minister of India and former Prime Minister of India and members of their immediate families. It was formed in 1988 by an Act of the Parliament of India. After the assassination of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in October 1984, the review was undertaken by a committee of secretaries and it was decided to entrust security of the Prime Minister to a special group under unitary and direct control of a designated officer and the STF to provide immediate security cover both in New Delhi and outside. These decisions were taken as short-term measures. Then on February 18, 1985, the Ministry of Home Affairs set up the Burble-Nack Committee to go into the issue in its entirety and submit its recommendation. In March 1985, the Burble-Nack Committee submitted its recommendations of raising a Special Protection Unit (SPU). On March 30, 1985, the President of India created 819 posts for the unit under the Cabinet Secretariat. The SPU was then rechristened Special Protection Group and the post of Inspector General of Police was redesignated as Director. The SPG came into being on April 8, 1985 when Dr. S. Subramaniam, then Joint Director VIP Security in the Intelligence Bureau, assumed office. Creation of the SPG required an elaborate exercise in order to clearly delineate responsibility of various agencies concerned with the security of the Prime Minister. The provisions contained in the Blue Book, which lays down security guidelines for the protection of the Prime Minister, had to be harmoniously blended with this new concept of proximate security. IB and the state/UV police concerned were responsible for coordination, collection and dissemination of intelligence affecting VIP security. State/UV police and the SPG were responsible for providing physical security arrangements for the Prime Minister, while the IB was to provide the required intelligence inputs to these operational agencies. The SPG functioned as a security group purely on the strength of an executive order for 3 years without a legislation, from April 1985 to June 1988. The SPG was constituted and trained specially to provide protection to Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, in view of the threats to him from several sources. But the organization created for the proximate security of Prime Minister Gandhi did not contemplate provision of protection to him when he ceased to be Prime Minister, and faced magnified threats. SPG cover for Rajiv Gandhi was withdrawn once he ceased to be Prime Minister. After the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi in May 1991, the SPG Act was amended in 1991 to provide security to former Prime Ministers and their immediate families for a period of 10 years from the date on which the former Prime Minister ceased to hold office. The General Superintendence, direction and control of the SPG is exercised by the central government. The head of the force, called a Director, who is responsible for the command and supervision of the force. The Director of the SPG since its inception has been an officer from the Indian Police Service. Personnel of the Special Protection Group are drawn from Central Armed Police Forces and Railway Protection Force, but the officers are from the IPS. In summer, the SPG men dress in the trademark safari suits, and in winter, formal suits, with reflective sunglasses and communication earpiece, and concealed personal weapons. Personal equipment include